Child, this was a sad episode, but
Yes,
gonna pull it. We're gonna pull it together.
We are. Smiles on your face. Whenever y'all feeling down, just shout out my baby girl's name. She's an awesome human being and an awesome angel. And if you're a good person, she takes care of my peoples. You know, I'll send a little shout out like, Mamita, can you just, send a little love to such and such? Next thing you know, I get a phone call that they good. I'm like, all right, then thank you. That's what I want to make sure she does. I want to make sure that whatever she's able.
All right. Hey, girl.
Hey, girl. Good morning.
Good morning. This is the morning edition of Girls Night Out. Welcome to Mikara Reid's version of a Girls Night Out, because we're all moving into this digital space and everyone is just, I don't want to say caught up into this digital world, but I'm gonna make it do what it do. But I wanted to create this cute little space. I know some of us cannot meet with each other, but I'm an eclectic type of girl. I'm well-traveled, and I just like to talk to people from all over the world, from different countries, from different states, from different cities. And I just said, let me just utilize the internet at its best. But my co-host for this episode is Jennifer. Hey, girl!
Hey, girl. Hey, everybody.
Yes. So what you got on off-show, the type of thing, okay?
Well, I'm going through my Fashion Nova stage just because the sales have been intense. Like, you could really get these little pieces for a little $5. That's what I'm saying. I need my little Black Friday sales early. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I got this cute little Fashion Nova top. I think when I caught it on sale, it was like $5. Like, that's my pocket. Like I like that in my pocket, And then I have these cute little like Bermuda type shorts underneath, and just a quick little flip flop. I'll explain a little bit why I'm very, very casual and summerish still in what's considered now the fall winter season.
Girl, we all got our own individual style. The best time I tell my clients to go shopping, especially if they're not fashion forward, is January, because the new season is about to be cranked out, Fashion Week, the new trends, and they want that stuff out.
Correct.
All the stores want it out. So the best time, if you are like not into fashion and you just don't want to spend your money or you want good quality clothes, January.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And actually, there's a little bit in between. Like you said, when they're transitioning into that new school year, you'll find a lot of deals in August too.
Yeah, for winter.
Yes, exactly.
I mean, yeah. So those are the two big times. But I definitely would think January is like the biggest transition because it's spring.
Yep.
And you're like, who the freak is wearing spring, summer stuff? And we're still freezing, depending on what part of the world you are. But yes, girl. What's going on with you? Anything new? Anything you working on?
I mean, once again, as every beautiful female, we just always working on ourselves, right? So that's an everyday thing for me. I'm trying my best to kind of align my chakras again, as in terms of focusing on starting my morning with meditation and really focusing on what my day is going to bring and just executing that, making that a viable thing, right? And of course, that's hard. Life is hard. Every day we wake up with different instances. Of course, on the east side too, depending on where you live, you wake up 6 o'clock in the morning to the traffic and the noise and the honking. So I'm trying my best to kind of chill when I wake up. I don't know if you've ever seen that funny meme of that wolf that sits in the corner of the bed when they wake up every morning.
Yes.
I'm trying to do that. I'm trying to be that little wolf and just sit there and kind of get it together before I start my day. As you get a little
I'm
bit,
still laying in the bed.
Yeah, that's why you want to be able to breathe a little bit before you start your day. I get, we live in a world right now that's just so robotic and just so like alarm clock, wake up, do this, do that. And I think as we get older, we realize, hey, it's okay to take a minute and be that wolf and sit in the corner of the bed and just take a breather. So I'm promising myself that, I'm promising myself that I'm going to set that foot forward and really try to do that for myself. And once again, it's hard, but I mean, at least if I don't do it in the morning, I try to take at least a 10 to 15 throughout the day and be like, all right, Jen, this is your time, breathe, do whatever you need to do, regroup. Yep, exactly. So that's basically my focus now and for this upcoming year.
Okay. I just went to an event in New York. Child, I was like, my body was like, girl, we are relaxing today.
Yep.
I was like, I didn't even do nothing. I had like only 2 drinks. Of course, it's watered down. Of course.
And expensive.
I didn't pay for it, so I didn't care.
Okay.
But I was just like, yo, what is going the hustle and bustle? And I'm just like, what am I hustling for? Like, I'm on time. It's just a lot. And I'm like, I don't know how New Yorkers do this for their entire life. And I'm only from New Jersey. I'm from the suburbs of New Jersey. I've never lived in New York. I've only gone there for work and just come right back home. But yeah, like, I was just there for like a good time. And I'm just like, yo, what am I hustling and bustling for? So I'm just like, yeah, I praise the folks that live in New York.
I mean, I'm like you, as in terms of Jersey, I'm a little bit closer to New York. So that specific area in Jersey is a part of that hustle and bustle of New York, because the majority of the New Yorkers live on our side, right? Whether it be whatever county you're in, down to whatever county I am. So I did have a little bit of that rat race living, you know, but the thing is, the positive to that is now I'm able to assimilate myself anywhere I am, you know, whether it be on vacation or just any sort of trip or business trip and stuff like that. But I understand where you're coming from. As in terms of once you get back to the Jersey side or just anywhere opposite of New York, it's like, wait a minute. Wait, I get to slow down now?
Yeah, somebody was like, what you rushing for? And I was like, I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. You just get so used to that roboticness of, you know, working, living, or just commuting in the city that once you de-escalate, right? Once you remove yourself, it's like, oh, okay. Don't get me wrong. There's times, like I said, that's why I'm trying to overall work on myself, because there's times where I can take that step back and then I'm like, all right, what do I do now? Because I'm just so used to that busyness. Yes, that I'm like, okay, I'm almost uncomfortable in my own shoes in a sense, right? So that's basically what I'm working on now, is being comfortable in my own shoes and relaxing and saying it's okay to take that step back.
Ciao. Salute to the New Yorkers. I don't know how y'all do it. I have been spoiled in the suburban life, and then I lived otherwise. But I've been working on writing a book. I'm so excited to finish it.
Well, congratulations.
Writing is not my strong suit. I could give you little snippets, taglines, I have a team of writers that's helping me. So they're like, what do you mean by this? And how about you put it? It's just a lot. So I have to wake myself up. I've been waking myself up like 4:30 in the morning since April to write. Well, yeah, the first 4 months I was just writing and putting all my notes in it. And then now I have like it conceptualized. So now we're like halfway through. So hopefully by December, I'll be able to just give it to the copy editor, and then I'm on to the design phase. But yes.
Ooh, 2023? Is it coming?
Yeah, absolutely. Because I want to be done with this.
Yeah.
This was a lot.
What do you find has been the most difficult? Because of course, when you're writing necessarily in your own words, based on your own opinion, a person would think that would flow naturally, would come easily. Where do you feel that you get stuck?
I have an author coach, so that writing is not my strong suit. So I already knew coming in, I'm going to definitely invest in people who write stronger than me. Because
thank you for saying that. I didn't even know those people existed.
Yes,
like a ghostwriter, basically, right?
Yeah, I have two ghostwriters who like going through it, and then there's an author coach. She's actually like in the literature world, so she's telling me to like move this around, tell your writers that, you know, move this around and make sure the checklist is active verbs instead of this, because she's giving me because if not, then she's going to have to actually go in. That's more hours for her. So, I've invested in a writing team. So my problem was I'm a very visual person. So anything with just black and white, I'm like, oh my God. Yeah. My mind just goes haywire, and I'm just like, I need to I'm giving this up. I need a break. So I get kind of flustered. So that is like my downfall. Conceptualizing, I kind of got that myself because I created like a Excel sheet, but just looking at black and white writing, it just gets flustered for me, and I'm just like, I can't do this. I don't know how people just can do this all day, every day. Like, this is a lot. If you put me in a fabric store with some colors, some fabrics, paint, I'm in heaven.
All day, Disney song and all, twirling around the store.
Twirling around, la, la, la. I just put together like But words, I was just like, this is a lot. So yeah, no, my team, I was like, you guys need to hold me accountable. Like, I need you to tell me, like, have this word amount done, like, by here, because I'm going to lose track. So yeah, I had to create like a system, because I'ma just be like, child, I give up. This
yeah,
a lot.
and then it'll just be just constant run-on sentences with no period. It's like, wait, when
No,
does this
I'm
stop?
not even gonna do it. I'm not even gonna open my note. I'm not even gonna open up the doc. Like, girl, bye.
So that's what this team does. Like, I don't know too much about writers. Don't get me wrong. I've actually wanted to write a book myself, but like you said, it's one of those things that it's like, once you start it, you have to continue going, but then you get that sort of writer's block. So this team, so literally you put your ideas all on paper, and then you have this team that literally comes together and creates the magic, right? Like you said, it gives you the notes of what to put where.
Through. Yeah, they comb through. Like, what do you mean by this? Because it's about defining your personal style and discovering it. And how I do it is not your typical, because the book author is like, yeah, I think you are right. You need to go self-publish, because they're not gonna know what to do with this. So when they read a certain section, like, what do you mean by this? Because I don't know what you're talking about as a person that's not even fashion forward or whatever. And then I'm just like, this is what I mean. And they have to like word it so that you can read it and understand it and follow it. Because if you don't understand it, it's like a staggering effect.
Correct.
So yeah, they're just like combing through it. Like, what do you mean? Making it flow a lot better. It's a story. There's case studies. There's clients. I use myself as the first chapter, because I wasn't always fashion forward as you guys think. Yeah, I have one male chapter. That's the one I'm on right now. Yeah, it's just.
Are you able to give us a little snippet of what it's about?
Yeah, it's about defining my method of how I discover my clients, and how I discovered mine, and how to create like your fashion system. So I do image consulting and personal styling. So I don't just do like personal shopping and stuff. I really go in and know what your week's activities are. So if you are a 9-to-5 sitting in the office, and then you go to yoga on Tuesdays and Thursdays, we really like map out what you do during the week, and then I make sure that your closet is aligned. Like, make sure your groups of clothing are set a certain way, because Monday through Friday, which is the bulk of your week, you need to have more work clothes than party clothes, or you need to have whatever your lifestyle is, you need to map that out. And then next I talk about confidence, because that's a big part of fashion for me. Not, like I said, I'm not like other stylists, but I integrate that in my business practices. What else do I talk about? I also talk about intentionality. You have charts. You got to know the messaging that you're sending out when you are putting stuff together. And then I talk about accessories. That's like a whole chapter in itself.
I can imagine.
So yeah, it's just a lot.
I mean, it brings a big smile to your face, so I'm happy for you. That means, you're really happy with the way it's going. Done. Oh, okay, because you just want it to be done. All right, I understand. But I'm excited. I can't wait to get my copy, girl.
Yes. Woo, child.
And then you have the perfect platform, because, what more information can you get than the plethora of what is New York City, right? Just everything that you see there, everything, from the styles, from Fashion Week. So you attend those sort of things, like the Fashion Weeks and things like that?
I used to. I could just watch it digitally, or they just send me like the link. But yeah, I used to. I've gone to there. I've gone to Nigeria, Lagos Fashion Week. I've Los Angeles, Atlanta. Like, I've been to Toronto. Toronto is a very beautiful scene. I don't even know why they don't put a light on that, but they even
people sleep on Canada.
Yeah.
People sleep on Canada.
But yeah, I've been to all of those. I've been going to those fashion weeks since I still have an email from my cousin. He was like, you'll be there next year. Like, he took the picture because I was working, and he was, it was 2011. So yeah, I've been going to fashion weeks for a long time.
Wow. This is it. This is your year. I believe you, girl. This is your year.
Yes. Yeah, the pivot based on our topic we'll get into. But yeah, the pivot of how the world is, how people are shopping, the way everybody's moving, it's kind of just made me just repivot as I was just going through my grief period. That's why I said this topic made me pivot. So I was just like, yeah, let me just go through my book of ideas and just start doing what I got to do. Started with the book, because that started April. I started like timing. Okay, on this day I did like this amount of words. So yeah, I gave my book it should be called manuscript. That's what it's called when it's unpublished and it's unfinished. I gave it to them when it was like 47,000 words.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Mm-hmm.
So by the time the book is done, it'll probably be like around 70 or 80.
Wow.
Chapter 2, the chapter after chapter 2, because there's like in between chapters. It's a big chapter. I'm gonna tell you this right now. It's the most missteps that a lot of people do not do. That is the name of the chapter.
Nice. So, I can't wait till chapter 2.
But yeah, I gave it to them like 47,000 words. So yeah, they're right now I'm at we're like at 60 something, because I'm like clocking it.
Almost there.
Ciao.
And what's the turnaround time once, let's say you hand this in, let's say you hand it in the next 2 weeks, what's the turnaround time? Will it have to be in the new year? Like how long does it take them to really go through it and then just say, all right, it's ready to go?
Well, I'm self-published. It's not like I'm going through like a publishing firm or whatever you call it. So I know she says as long as it's not like Christmas, which I said, no, girl, I'm not rushing this. This is my first book. I think she's pretty quick, because as soon as I turn it over to her, because I contact her like in between, like we're a little stuck here. I need your help. After I hand that to her, I'm going straight to design development. I already got the connections for that.
Oh, so you're good. All right. So whenever it's ready, it's ready. Like whenever you feel it, everybody goes through it. All right. I'm glad you have such a good team.
Yeah, I don't have to wait for the copyright either, because I know you have to submit everything, even the pictures, the design. You submit that all at once, so everything is. I thought I had to submit my wording first and then like the whole book, but no, it's everything. So once that's done, they said as soon as you submit it, the receipt is what you put the date as a copyright.
Okay.
So I was like, oh, okay, so I don't got nothing to worry about that, girl.
Yep. Good. Yay. Okay, good. I'm so happy for you, girl.
But yes, girl. But that is what I've been working on vigorously.
Good for you. Once again, like you said, you dab a little bit on grief. We'll discuss that a little bit further. That'll make you wake up and do something, honestly. It's either or, actually. It's either or, right? You either wallow in the swallows or you get up and do something. So you chose that and flipped it and made it a positive. So it's going to be great. It has to be. Yeah. It's going to be great.
I hope so, girl. So let's go into our topic.
Let's go.
You ready? So our topic of discussion... It's a little it could be a little Debbie Downer, because it was very uncomfortable actually to find an eavesdropper. A lot of people did not want to talk about this.
Really?
She asked me to disguise her voice.
Really?
Yes.
Oh wow. Okay.
So we're gonna get into it. So yes, our topic is how supportive were your friends during the time of grief. Grief is not just death, but grief can also just be a regret or a loss. So like a friend breakup, a friend of like 12 years, and you guys have separated or not friends for like, you guys just break up. That's also a grief, but a lot of people kind of just put hand to hand that it's just a death. So, but this can be an uncomfortable conversation, because when I was going up to women, they were not very comfortable talking about this.
Wow. Okay. And mind you, you would think so, because, the more you hopefully release, the better you can heal or grieve with others from that loss. So, I mean, I understand, because, when we get into my side, I'll speak a little bit of it. But yeah, I'm surprised that you got so much no's, more no's than yeses.
Yeah, I got more. Maybe it's like a personal thing. I can kind of resonate. But, some of them were like talking to me like, do you have another topic I can talk about? And I'm just like, no.
This is it.
This is it.
This is
just like, oh, so yeah, I don't know. Some of them maybe it be a personal, and I'm in their personal space. But a lot of them were just like, I'm gonna talk, but like I don't feel comfortable talking about this. And I'm just like, well, This is what the episode is about.
Yeah.
Sorry. It was so nice talking to you. Bye.
Have a great day. Watch the podcast.
Right. But yeah, time of grave. Have you done it? Well, have you done it? But have you gone through it? Of course you have. But how did you deal with it? And we're going to get right into, we're not going to get too much into it because we're not going to invade people's privacy because we don't know what the internet going to do. The internet going to internet.
Correct.
But time of grief. I think the most impactful one for me was 2020. This was the exact cousin who was full-blown supportive of me being in the fashion industry because I actually went to school for healthcare and I hate it. I did not like it. So he was very supportive of me being in the fashion industry, regardless if I was doing something bad. Well, not bad, but just being hard-headed, trying to go around it. Just he was still supportive of me doing it. And when he died, I actually watched him die because he felt like he was having a heart attack, and he FaceTimed me because I'm in the health field. So not only did I lose someone, but like just the feeling of like, man, I feel like I could have done more, but I did. Luckily, he listened and he wasn't having a heart attack stuck in his house. He actually called his friend because you know how guys are. They're a little ego. They don't want people in their business. I'm just like, you need to call. Like I had to yell at him. But yeah, just the feeling of that and just having that repeated memory of him just like dying. I just felt like garbage for a while. I was just very sad, and I really had to like sit in my silence. And it was not many friends there. Of course, family called because we were like this. Yeah. This. But yeah, there weren't many friends that were very supportive. I'm gonna have to say just one that actually called, and she checked up on me like once a month because she knows I'm a bit distant. I need my time. And I was just not together. I was not together. How about you? What was like your most impactful?
Well, get your tissues, ladies, because here we go. So similar to you, I had my ride or die, right? Prior to the loss, this was the person. And then I was fortunate enough where I've been blessed with good people in my life overall, right? Still good friends with people from high school. This is where I say the positives of social media and Facebook like that, where you're able to keep connected. And just my hood in general, no matter how many years have gone by, there's always just love amongst us, right? And I had a team, like I had a really, really good team. So I had my ride or die with this, which is also my cousin, as you mentioned yours. And then aside from that, we had our little entourage of about maybe 6 or 7 additional best girlfriends, which are very hard to find in that quantity, right? Like solid friends. And it all started because I was teaching in Jersey, and then we were just all teachers, and then we all just became best friends. And I'm talking about maybe we're going on 20 plus years. So this is 20 plus years of friendships, to the point that, just like in the movies where it's the group of girls and then their husbands or boyfriends, then they've all become friends. We take turns in each other's houses doing the barbecues and the events and things like that. I'm talking about we're unbreakable. Anywhere we walk into, we're about 25 deep, right? You can't mess with us, right? So everything's all good. And then 2018 comes. I had been living my best life going, oops, sorry about that, lost camera. Living my best life, going on cruises and vacations. I lost my camera. 1 sec. Let's do this. All right, let's do this one. Going on vacations, going on cruises, and, just living my best life, basically, right? And I turned out to be pregnant in 2017 on a cruise, as a matter of fact. And I said, okay, I'm in my late 30s at that time. Did I think I wanted to have a child? Not necessarily, because once again, I was living my best life. I've also been in education for a very long time, over 25 years. So I was one of those where I was getting my fill of being around children. So I was okay if I didn't become a mom. Like I said, 25 years in, I kind of knew the game of rearing children, raising children, educating children. I was content with that. The universe, God, anyone you believe in, had other plans. So I said, okay, let's do this. My inner circle of friends, they were all becoming mothers, already had been mothers. So that was fine with me. So then I give birth to this beautiful, beautiful baby. You know what I'm saying? Of course, you always wish for that health, and you always wish for the health of your child, the 10 fingers, 10 toes, which all down the line. But at the end of the day, I wanted my baby to have good hair. You know what I'm saying? You always want your baby. I wanted my baby to have good hair. So, I got 4C. I love my 4C, but I just wanted my baby not to have to go through that, right?
Oh, yeah.
I ended up dating a Puerto Rican nationality, so I was hoping that it was his good hair. Here we go, October 1st, 2017, I birthed this beauty. I'm talking about everybody loves their children. Everybody calls their children beautiful, but my baby was a dime. My baby was beautiful. The good hair, the nice, strong African nose. She was beautiful, right? So here I am, enjoying the spoils of motherhood, but also with a certain cockiness. Hey, I'm a teacher. I've been doing this 25 years. My kid's going to be perfect. She's going to grow up to be the best. Anything I could do for her, I will do, because I have that knowledge and that education in the background. So in the very beginning, when I gave birth to her, I actually immediately went back to work. We can go into a whole other topic next time, as in terms of our healthcare system, which forces a lot of moms not to have that full maternity leave and forces us to have to kind of go. I've been pretty healthy my whole entire life, so I had a really good bounce back. And at that time, I was working for a private family as a nanny. They needed me back. I went ahead. Once again, hey, I got the next at least 18 years, right, before baby girl leaves the house. So I'm good. This is now October. We go into February of 2018. The beginning of that, I find out that I'm pregnant again, because we all know how that works, right? They tell you to relax a little bit, but nobody relaxed. And it turned out I had actually gotten pregnant with triplets. For a couple of people, that insemination period right after your birth is higher. Your hormones are still on high alert. So you're able to actually have doubles or more during that time set. So of course, here we go. So I'm excited. Once again, there's a piece of cake. I got this. Fast forward into February, and I get woken up by my ex at that time, and he says, our child is not breathing. So, I run into the room. Mind you, I'm just freshly woken up. Also, to backtrack a little bit, when I do get pregnant, I get extremely sick. Extremely, extremely sick. You hear about the morning sickness, but I'm talking about I'm the queen of morning sickness, right?
Wow.
So I get woken up to this. Mind you, it's just a regular Tuesday, right? I'm not thinking anything of it, getting ready to, get up eventually within that hour to get ready to go to work. And there's my child lifeless in her changing table. Fast forward now all the way till March. Not to get into too much detail because it's something still active. Come to find out, my husband was the cause of the injuries to my child. Ex-husband was the cause to the injuries to my child. Fast forward a little bit more, it ended up causing her death. Right. So the same way you're frozen in shock, the gang was frozen in shock. The whole entire hood was frozen in shock. Right. With me being a nanny from my area for so many years, all my kids are grown that I've raised there. I have relationships with these families, right? So they've all known me. So it was always a long-standing joke of, "Ooh, I can't wait for, Jen to have a baby. It's going to be her turn soon." So this whole network of people, this whole village was waiting for this to happen. So come to find out, like I said, I can't get into too much detail because it's still a little bit more active. It is a court case now, things like that. So while we're doing this, I'm still in shock, right? Because once again, this is not what I expected. I found out through means of what was done exactly to her, and it was disgusting and it was brutal. A lot of it is access online. So that's why I know I could speak on some of it. It's something you could easily Google. Like, my life was private on a Monday, and then by Tuesday I was public. I was on the internet. I was in the news. It was just a whirlwind. That's why it was a whirlwind of emotions. And I'm a very private person. So to have that all happen was just overwhelming. In the very beginning, the group was there. Families were there. They didn't know what to do. They didn't know what to say. So their job was one thing: be my support, right? So that happens. We have a going home ceremony for her, things like that. Once again, it's still an active investigation. So there was a lot of things in between. It could be another topic one day, but there's a lot of things that our healthcare system and our judicial system needs to work on. But we can touch base on that another time. In the very beginning, I didn't know what to do. Everybody's like, well, stay here or stay with me. You have these 3 that are coming. In between that time, because of what was happening to my daughter, I was actually expelling the other three, meaning I was losing a lot of blood and I was pretty much miscarrying them. Right. So during that point, I can honestly tell you, I wasn't even worried about those three. I wanted my best friend.
Right.
That's who I was worried about. Right. I didn't know these three. I wanted my best friend. You know, people were like, relax, try to relax. Can't relax in a time like that.
No.
So, in between that time, I had vacationed several times to a Caribbean country. And in those findings and in those vacations, I was like, all right, this place is doable to one day, you know, move as a family. This was prior to, you know, me getting pregnant with her. And, you know, this was a decision that we had made when we were a couple, that this is a country we would consider moving to. We get pregnant with her. We rediscussed it, that it would be something we would move to in the future with her. So, of course, when this took place, I immediately thought, I got to go. Right. So for a lot of people, you know, it was hard on them because they were like, wait, where are you going? We're right here. We're your village. We're your support system. Where are you going? And the thing was, it was my personal decision because, number one, I couldn't breathe. I was suffocating, you know, born and raised in my hometown, homeland, and I couldn't bear being there, the anxiety that it gave me just to be in that area. One of the reasons why is that in that very beginning, nothing happened in the process when it came to trials or even arresting him. So for a little while, not even for a little while, for a good couple of years, 3 years to be exact, this person was free. Now, I was told this would happen before we would go to court. So that's why I made my personal decision not to be around for that. I did not want to take the risk of bumping into this evil person in a Walmart, getting gas, you know, because as a motherly instinct, as any person would tell you, I'll kill for mine. And I was ready to do that. Obviously I didn't, or we wouldn't be sitting here today. But it was because after all I've told you right now, it was because of that decision of not doing what I guess any other mother or any other father would have done. I got people that turned their back on me. They're like, well, the Jen I know would have put that dude 6 feet under. Well, guess what, guys? The Jen I know would have done it too. But under this circumstance, this one broke Jen. This broke Jen.
You're human. You're a woman. Like those are like your kids. Like
exactly. So it's just where I needed to go. I needed to regroup. I needed to find out what the definition of my life is now. You know, we all have that path where, you know, there's a timeline, you know, we're children, teenagers, adults, jobs, hopefully marriage, and then children. When that cycle is broken, then you're just standing there and it's like, all right, now what's next? Like, what is the point of me kind of, you know, and I didn't fathom suicide, but I definitely now could relate to some that did, because it's like, all right, what do I do now? What's the purpose of my life now? You know, so before those thoughts overwhelm me, which they still do every single day, not necessarily the suicide part, but the what do I do now? I needed to answer those questions on my own. There was nothing that my village could have done for me to help me find that. But the thing was, where they turned their back on me was because I guess I didn't handle it the way they wanted to. And I don't, you know, this is something that's going to be on the internet and I don't want to speak for anyone. I don't know at the end of the day, but it's the fact that so many have shut me out that I don't know the real reason why they turned their back. You know, I really don't know. I want to give them the benefit of the doubt and say, well, you know, my ride or die that I mentioned, or my other sisters, as I consider them mentioned, they were that hurt. You know, this was their child too. They are also mothers, so they understand that pain, right? But the thing is, what blew my mind is at the end of the day, your only job was to just be there for me, no matter what decision I would have made.
Some people don't understand that.
And I just don't understand why, you know, my cousin that I'm speaking of didn't understand that either. Don't get me wrong. She was my child's godmother, so it broke her heart more than anybody else. I get it. But dang, sis, I miss you. Dang, sis, I needed somebody to talk to this whole entire time. Or a shoulder to
cry on.
You know, and I needed somebody who understood me, knew me, and you know, could have spoke, you know, talked me off that ledge sometimes. And the irony is I received that part from strangers and acquaintances I've met more now than I've done from her. And it's like, dang, sis, we had a plan.
Yeah, a bond, a plan.
We had a plan. Like, I'm your child's godmother. You're my child's godmother. This was supposed to be a thing. This was a horrible, horrible thing that happened to me, but I still needed you there. That wasn't the time for you to leave. That wasn't the time for you to feed your own ego or your own resolutions or issues about that, or the shoulda, woulda, coulda, because that's my shoulda, woulda, coulda, not yours.
Right.
Your only job was to have my back and be there for me. As time has gone by, it's eased the pain of, because now it's more than one loss to me, right? It's not just my daughter, it's all these people. So it's eased a little bit in that sort of loss, but there are times where, something happens to me. I just want to talk to her. So then, instead I talk to my daughter. I always talk to my daughter, but there's times I want to talk to her. And I can't, can I reach out? I tried in the very beginning. I tried to ask her what it is specifically. And, the little feedback I did receive in the beginning was where she just didn't understand the decisions I made. But I told her it wasn't for you to understand. It was just for you to be there overall. Right. Is it something where I think we'll make amends? I'm not sure, but I'll tell you one thing, as these years continue to go by, I'm missing that less and less. And, this sort of grief on this level, of course, obviously it changes you. You have certain people that lose their child and they end up going into a depression, things like that. I'm definitely in a depression, but because I know I have this grand angel, this grand being watching me, I want to be everything I would have been if she was still present physically.
Yeah, okay.
Right. So I can't be that one that wallows in my sorrows in the corner. I have to keep going. But now my drive is different because everything I do, every step I take is for her. But I'll tell you one thing. I'm a very angry person. I'll tell you that.
She should be.
Right? I'm angry in a sense where anybody that surrounds me, that's a parent, I demand you to be the best. Any situation that I see on the news, because now I'm a news junkie now, right? I study cases and cases in relation to mine. I try to get as much information and knowledge as I can. And, once again, this is going back to our justice system. There's some rulings that make no sense, in certain cases and mine also. There's some rulings that make no sense of how, I'll say it flat out, how a person that can murder their child be given this amount of sentencing, but a person that's selling marijuana gets 10 times more. Like, it just makes no sense.
The system needs to be revamped because there's just so much new things that's going on and it's still stuck in like the past.
Exactly. And it's like, would my case have been any, and I don't want to play the race card, but because of the cases I do watch online, would it be done any differently if we were Caucasian? Once again, I'm not trying to play the race card, but I'm basing it on facts of cases I've seen, right? And things like that. But going back to that, I'm angry. I'm angry almost every day, where I don't tolerate ignorance, which I never did, but, less so now. Like I said, I demand people to be good people around me because I know for a fact I would have raised a good human being. So if you've been given a chance to still be around, living, breathing, walking, talking, if you're going to be around me, I demand you to be your best person every time. So that's why what it's done to me in the opposite, of course, you have less friends, right? A smaller inner circle. And now I enjoy my time being by myself, to tell you the truth. Right. Because
I'm gonna have to agree with you with that. We won't dive.
Yeah, I like my quality time. And I think that also comes not necessarily with grief, but as you get older too, right? You kind of weed out the phonies and the fakes and, weed out what doesn't make your soul happy. I'm a selective type of girl
anyway, but the quiet, the BS and the emotional dumping that they do, that a lot of females do, it's not just females, but I enjoy just getting up and girl, we gonna take you out on a date today to cleanse your mind, or we gonna go to the movies, or we gonna go out to eat, or I'm gonna read a book. I've been reading a book or two every month.
Good for you. I have to get back on that.
My knowledge is like whip. It is, so me being even more narrow and just weeding out some of the friends, Girl, I probably have like 2 friends right now.
Yeah.
I'm
And
fine
that's
with that.
sometimes all you need. Yeah, that's sometimes all you need. Don't get me wrong. I miss my gang. If they see this and they want to,
Yeah.
if they want, no, you don't understand my gang. I'm talking about the
They
gang,
probably like
like
ride or die, like
all
gang
ride or
gang.
die, every personality in this beautiful melting pot of just beautiful culture, beautiful melanin skin and all shade. I'm talking about, I got some fly friends, girl.
Let me tell you
Inside and out.
something.
Inside and out.
Let me cut into this. We got a Pacific episode that is called "Is it better to have small group of friends or big group of friends?"
Mm-hmm.
I'm a send it to you,
yes.
and
let's hold that. Let's hold that.
No, I had it already. I want you to see what my response is.
Okay.
Yeah, I have topics for days, but
good.
Yeah, it's having my 2 little friends, and then I own a company. I have employees, so that in itself is a lot. I don't think people just think like they see online like, oh, I work for myself. Girl, no. When you have a team, like it's a lot of personalities that you got to deal with. You got your system, you got your schedule, it's a lot of in itself.
Yes,
and then I go to therapy.
And let's clear up the fact that you owning your own business and, what people call being an entrepreneur today may be 2 different things. Because, girl, I see online, these people swear to God, they're like entrepreneurs and, self-employed and doing this thing. And it's like, there's no work ethic behind it. It's just a quick little, get famous or make a couple of dollars thing, but no, it's right. And there's no stability.
You saw the process behindhand.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
No,
the blood. There's no real blood, sweat, and tears these days in a lot of these, this younger generation, in terms of the work ethic.
Yeah, exactly. There's no system. Like that is like my niche. It doesn't matter what I'm doing, but like building a system. As I was mentioning with the book, like I am helping you build a fashion system, and it starts with your closet or how you shop. If it's helping a fashion designer, you gotta have like what manufacturer are you buying? What's the price going to be like? The whole inner backing, like that has to be together. Like, what are your processes? What's the sales pipeline? Like, there's just so many things, and people are just like, what is that? Yeah. I'm just like, are you even collecting like their emails? Like, how are you staying in contact with them? You just using IG or TikTok? Like, what if that goes down? Like, F them sites. So
you're right too. People forget that. Like, oh, girl, sometimes I wish the internet would go down just one time so I could get my popcorn and watch these youngins and be like, what you gonna do now, man? What you gonna do?
Yeah, it already has. And I was just like, oh, okay, whatever. I can hold a conversation in person. Like, what?
Exactly.
Who cares? I email and I call. I hate texting. I do not like texting, but a lot of people don't have like systems in place. Like I have templates already pre-made. If I send to my virtual here, send this to X, Y, and Z. Make sure you use this, and please change the color. Like I have a system in place, and they know what to do. But child, that is a lot in itself. And if you see my calendar, it is colorful.
I love calendars. I'm one of those that even though I go ahead and put things in my phone, I still got to write it down. That's the old school in me. Like I need to have that map in my OCD, right? I need to have it in the notebook. I need to have it on the phone. I even need to have it on the tablet, just everywhere.
I write. Well, it's good muscle memory. A lot of people don't know that, but writing, it helps your muscle memory instead of just going on your phone. So yeah, I have a whole bunch of notebooks. Ciao.
And the thing is, it's sad because we kind of need to get our youth back to that. And once again, I'm speaking from experience, knowledge, and profession. I'm a teacher right now, 7th and 8th graders. You would think I'm pulling out a tooth to ask them to read a book.
Yeah, I read a book
let me give you an example. I gave them Harry Potter. We've all seen Harry Potter, at least the movie, read the book. So I'm like, all right, this is a great first book report. You guys are about to go into high school. I need to prep you. There's no more hand holding when you get to high school and college. It's just like, you do the work. This is due when it's due, and that's it. And my 7th and 8th graders are not prepared for that. They're not prepared for that at all. With all the technology they have, they're still kind of lazy with it. They'll give 1,000% to the Roblox and Among Us and all these little phony games. But for the book report, it was constant complaints. The grammatical errors, the punctuation errors, the lack of capitalization. I said, you all can honestly even cheat these days and use those Grammarly type sites. But it's the fact that they're so lazy to even use a Grammarly site to check their spelling. I said,
I
my
don't even do
goodness,
that. Yeah, no.
my
I still got
goodness.
my little dictionary. Yeah, made my little library. Yeah, I have a little dictionary that I have it right next to my desk. And when I'm writing, like I pull it out. Like I don't rely, I'm not near the computer. My phone is over there. Like, yeah, no. Schools, I applied for a fashion business position adjunct.
Nice.
I'm not gonna say
Nice.
which school. They brought me
Mm-hmm.
in for an interview, but when I looked at some of these college students, I was just like, was I this behind? I'll say during my time, like it's just I don't know, it's just very like lackadaisy, and I'm just like,
Yeah. Yeah.
internet was there when I went to school, which was 2010 to 2000.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, 2006 to 2010. It was there, but it wasn't. Social media wasn't an everyday thing. Like
Correct.
Facebook was still college. Like you had to sign up with an edu at the
Mm-hmm.
end. So, there wasn't so much of information, but since I went to that job, they didn't hire me, but I'm like, I feel like I need to create like an online community, kind of just focusing on, just creating a system. Cause I don't think people really grasp, like you really need to have a system to create a brand. Of course it's going to be more fashion forward for like fashion brand designers and service providers, but other people can grasp from it. But yeah,
Yeah.
schools are different. So
They're way different. They're way like there's days I end my day, I'm like, really? This is our future people? Like this is who's supposed to make decisions for us when we get older? Like,
I
no, man. And
know.
I tell my kids all the time, please prepare yourselves for when the internet goes down. It's going to happen one day. Like, I need you guys to have that sort of knowledge. I said, I would be a failure as a teacher if I set you up for failure. If I set you up to think that all your answers will forever be on Google, I'm not a good teacher. I'm not a good
Do
teacher.
they even know how to go to like the library and read the
Girl, they don't even know whether they haven't set foot in the library. Because I was like, I want you guys to go to the library and get the book and read it. They're like, oh, I don't live near one. Oh, wait, I don't think I have a library card. I said, oh, MG.
I still
I'm
have
like,
one.
wow.
Yeah,
So
I
yeah, that's our
still.
future, guys. Like that's
Oh
our
goodness.
future. I'm trying my
I
best.
don't know.
I'm hoping. I'm not the only educator out there that's trying their best. But yeah, we're given obstacles with them nowadays. We are given obstacles with them. I consider myself still the cool hip teacher because, like yourself, we were integrated to technology from the very beginning, so we kind of know
Right.
how to maneuver around it, and we kind of know how to become a follower, right? As a lot of
Right.
our generation didn't do. So I use it to my means and incorporate a lot of my lesson planning with stuff that they're familiar with. But at the end of the day, no matter what context I introduce to them, their feedback has to either be written or verbally. I need you to speak to me. They don't speak. They
They
grunt.
sure don't. They sure don't.
Uh, I'm like, no, you need to
I need
speak
an
to me.
emoji face. Yeah, I do
Yes.
emoji face.
Yes.
Yeah, I
And
did
it's
a
just
workshop
like, come
class
on.
and I was just like, I want y'all to know that I'm the interactive teacher. So if y'all don't answer, we will be standing here and I will be looking
Yep.
cute. Okay?
Yep. Yep. I went old school to some of the teachers I didn't even like. I take off points here and there. Just your basic title page. Like you're writing a book, just your basic title page. It's like pulling teeth. I'm like, look, a title page is separate. Open any book in your house and you're going to see a separate title page. I
They're
said, that's
probably used to
exactly.
they're probably used to YouTube titles and not book titles
And then
or
also
Chicago style.
they're used to just run on sentences. I
Hmm.
said, write me a paragraph. I have 15 sentences. I said, that's not a paragraph. There's no differentiation. There's no split. How do I know
Too many
when you're taking a
fragments.
breather and going on into the next subject? I said, you have to write as if you're the reader. You have to write as if you're directly talking to someone. If you want to convince somebody to like your product, choose you, follow along with your reading, convince them. And it all starts with a simple little, introduction in your own words. And they won't give me that. But they'll talk about nonsense all day,
Yeah.
all day. So it's sad. It's sad. I'm hoping
Yeah.
I'm hoping to change at least my group. I love my group. They're a funny bunch. You know, these teenagers of this generation, they're hilarious. But yeah, we need to get back to a lot of the basics, you know, even as simple as reading. You know, it should be something where we incorporate, hey, before you have this many hours of online time, you know, devote yourself to this at least for an hour or so a day, something like that. Like I even want them to meditate when we start in the morning. Mm-hmm. I want them we have something called an advisory, which is just a little break in between in the very morning where we just discuss how our evenings were and things like that. So that's how I start my morning with them, just to get dialogue out of them.
Interesting. During my little downtime of grief and just restructuring my life, that's like one of my next missions. As soon as I get this off the road and the book is done, I wanted to create an online. I'm just like, I think I want to structure it like the school curriculum, because like I said, when I went in for the interview, I was a bit like, is this how schools are right now? I don't know. I just feel like, and also I also feel like some of the teachers, the professors, they don't bring like excitement.
Yes, exactly. That's exactly what's going on.
Yeah.
They've become, sorry about that. They've become also lazy to the net. They're using it as an excuse to say, all right, well, you know, the net will help me. And the thing is, I'm the opposite. And I actually work for a really great school, which we're the opposite. We're teachers. You know, we're bringing it back to old school of interaction, conversation, you know, proper grading of papers, not just letting you skim by. Like, we're preparing you for the next foot forward. The owner of the school, he's like you and I, where he just wants to get back to those basics of real core learning. So, you know, he's been blessed by, even though it's virtual, actually, he's been blessed to find a good group of people from all over the world where we have those sort of same values. So shout out to Ideal School if you want a fantastic online school for your children. And you know what's funny is that people underestimate us because, you know, when you Google online schools, you see a million of these, you know, Korean or Asian type one-on-one and quick, almost babysitting, online virtual babysitting. So now when you come to our school and you realize,
babysitting,
basically, because like you just said, these professors and these certain teachers are just so used to the internet doing all the work. Their day consists of video after video after video after video. Okay, thank you, class is over. You know, I'm the opposite. I may use the video as a guide because we're online, but at the end of the day, honey, you reading, writing, and assigning me homework in that notebook. You know, and then so people underestimate us where when they sign up for school with us, they're like, all right, cool. I got my child a babysitter. When they realize we have final exams, you know, in between block exams, things like book reports, a whole platform where we do our gradings and parent teacher conferences, they're like, oh. So when I have my parent teacher conferences, they're like, oh, we didn't know there was this many requirements. I'm like, wow, have you gotten sucked in too then? Like, did you not forget your days of school? Yeah. And don't get me wrong, not to knock parents. We do live in a world now because, you know, it's a 2-parent household has to work. It's not like back in the days in the 50s and the 60s where everybody got to be housewives.
No,
like women are out there working. That's why women are out there working.
My friend is the breadwinner. Well, she was, because now she has a little child. But when she was working, she was the breadwinner versus her husband. He wasn't too far off. Not to put their business out there. I'm not going to say her name.
Yeah. No,
but
it's been happening. It's been happening.
Very on top of her kids. Like, she get that email. What does it? Make sure he is not watching any TV. He is doing straight homework. And I'll be like, oh. So it's like, I didn't know it was, I don't have no kids, so I'm living vicariously through her.
Yeah.
I'm just like, oh, so you get like straight reports. Like, she's like, yeah, I want it every day sent to my phone. So she gets reports on any act ups or any talk backs. And she was very involved. Like, she loves being a mother.
That's fantastic.
So I guess not all. I don't know. I am not a parent.
Yeah, that's the thing. You know, like I said, it's not to knock the average household now. 2 parents do work, but that's the thing now, because we're so virtual, just overall in the whole entire world and in life. There's no excuse because you do get that message that quickly, as opposed to the average phone call or the email you may miss. Or yes, what did you say? The postal service? What's that like?
You get the report card mailed to you. You better get the mail first, girl.
So that's the advantage of having, you know, the internet, is having that one step or one drop service for everything education wise, or no matter what it is that you do in life. Right. So, that's what I like about our school. I like the fact that we're able to integrate and we're able to bring back old school back to basics and then connect it with what's going on today with the internet. Right. So our parents are very pleased with us. We're very pleased with our families. I love what I do overall. So either way, I would still be doing it. And then my goal, going back a little bit to the grief, is baby girl. I call her my baby ninja. Anybody that knows my social media page, everything, she's called Baby Ninja. She sent me messages here and there in these past couple of years, because my baby's adamant. She don't play with her mama. Anybody that ill wills her mama or just, wants to offer me a bad day or spew their negativity, I'm talking about, but baby, don't play with that karma, girl. I'm talking about if that person cursed me out, next you know, they're tripping downstairs. My baby don't play with that karma, right? So she's been sending me messages that one of the reasons why I'm in this specific location is I'm going to open a daycare in her name.
Aww.
Right? Okay, you say all right, but once again, going back, I came to this location with my little bit of cockiness, like, oh, I'm American. They roll their red carpet out to us wherever we go. Girl, they don't care about education here. Not like they should.
Yeah, not like they should. This is a capitalistic state.
Every door I knock on, it's more like, well, don't you want to open another bar or another restaurant? I'm like, no, I want to open a school and educate the children.
This is a capitalistic. They want you to work and make money.
Yeah, and then work till you die. And then So, so she told me, all right, mom, first stop where you are now, and then you're going to continue to do this, because I guess what she's trying to tell me is she already knows that I'm not comfortable going back home just yet. Right. Number one, if I go back home without hitting this goal, I'm going to feel defeated. Right. So I need to do this for her before anything else. So she told me, Mom, once you do that here, I want you to revolutionize that all across Central and South America. Okay. So once I'm done here, I'll be going to different countries around Central and South America and doing educational programs, if not a daycare, in places that are needed, all in her name. Because what happened was, she realized, I realized, my hood, my village realized this man really tried to silence her and myself. That's another reason why I didn't take this man's life, because who would have spoken on behalf of my child? Yeah. Right. So I needed to do that. So not only did he not get to successfully wipe her name, now I'm going to have her name on big letters everywhere for everyone to see. So shout out to Khaleesi Monroe. That's my baby girl's name, Khaleesi Monroe. I did get her from Game of Thrones, Mother of Dragons. Yes, I did. Just about to ask. Girl, and I'm so upset too, of course, like you mentioned before, there's those little things that'll always repeat in your mind. Right. So for the rest of my life, I'm already used to these 5 years, and 5 years went in the blink of an eye. I'm talking about, I could almost remember, you start to forget little things here and there, but I could almost remember that day down to the T. And it's like, those 5 years have gone by so fast. And what upsets me too is that, girl, for that whole entire time that I was pregnant, I wanted to name her that. And the murderer, because that's what I call him. I don't call her father. I don't call him my ex. He's the murderer. He kept fighting me on that. He's like, I don't want to be that corny parent that has the child named after a show. I said, no, boy, you don't understand. There's something about this name, and I have to give this child this name. So when I finally gave her this name, it upsets me too. He only gave me 4 months. He took her life, by the way. I didn't mention. He took her life after 5 months. So he gave me no time with this child. No time with this child. I don't know what this child would have sounded like. I don't know. This child never cut her first tooth. This child never got to say mama. All she did was smile. And that smile, girl, can light up a room. So I'll never know why people do what they do. Right. But because of that smile, because of the person I know she would have been, I got to make sure that name lives on in whatever which way, shape, or form that I can.
Well, we got a nice little eavesdropper.
Ooh.
Who want to chime in on her little decision?
Ooh,
on is
we should play a little like intro music when we do that.
So this is an eavesdropper of, is she a supportive or helpful friend during a time of grief?
Can I be? I'm gonna be completely honest with you. Ooh. I'm glad my face is not on this recording. I'm pretty terrible at supporting my friends during grievances. I will have to admit that. my family weren't very emotionally involved, and stuff like this gets very awkward for me. So I am not supportive. I am ashamed of it, and yeah, there's just nothing else to say. I'm pretty uncomfortable talking about it, thinking about it. It's just not a subject I even want to think about.
So that's our little eavesdropper.
Ooh, well, hey, girl, thank you for sharing that with us for sure. And
Right.
even though your voice is disguised, I can hear the pain in that. I can hear that this person is truly upset of not being as supportive as they feel like they should.
Mm-hmm.
Don't, to that person, don't beat yourself up over it. But, being a person who suffered from grief, being a person who's lost somewhat of their support system,
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate your honesty. I would have no problem with you being a friend of mine and saying, hey, Jen, this is out of my league. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'll be there for you when you call and ready to go out to eat. And, but as in terms of me being there for you when you need a shoulder to cry on or giving you that advice, I can't do that. I would have so much respect for that person being that upfront and
A
honest with
lot of
me.
people do not feel comfortable communicating, setting
Mm-hmm.
boundaries. It's just so much
Mm-hmm.
of things. But yeah, she stated that she's uncomfortable. The one thing that stuck out to me, she said her family wasn't very emotionally supportive. So
Correct.
that, and I was just like thinking to myself, I didn't want to interrupt her. I'm just like, that's, at least she can identify the root as to
Yes.
why it's uncomfortable. Some people don't even know where to start. They just say like, I don't want to talk about it, or I don't feel comfortable talking about this, or they just like run away. So,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think it's great that she even identified it, but that's like the huge thing that stuck out to me. But everyone goes through grief. Like I said in the beginning of this episode, you breaking up with a friend, you and a family member not talking anymore, or death. Like everyone goes through it. It's the emotional and mental thing. I've learned that going to therapy. I went to therapy, and she helped me like kind of just redefine everything. Because
Mm-hmm.
again, this person was like, that was like my sounding board, my support system, and everything wrapped in one, as long as a family member. But yeah, we all go through it. We all have our process. Some people take longer than others. It took a very long time. I'm gonna tell you, it took me a very long time, because that first year was hard. It was very hard. And then we were in the pandemic. So I just was like, I don't even want to talk to you right now. Like, please leave me be.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't even know how some of my clients even were okay with me. Like, I sent them an email like, I just lost someone. I'm not going to be working. I'm not going to be functional. But
Yeah.
yeah, I think having a therapist, and everyone, if you find a therapist, you definitely need to vet your therapist. You got to have a chemistry with your therapist, especially with a heavy topic like this, a heavy, touchy topic like this. You need to kind of just fill them out and make sure that you guys gel like good before you dive into such a sticky type of subject.
Correct.
So yeah, having a therapist. I specifically wanted a woman.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and just help her having me. She was more like, it was like a friend you're paying.
Yeah.
I like
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
say a friend you're paying, and she helped me do it. And she also, I wish I was very appreciative. She asked me, how do I learn? Like, which way do I learn? I said, by doing. I see and then I do. And so she had me do exercises, and that kind of broke up my monotony of just kind of just being so somber and sad. And my emotions are just ranging from low to high. And then I just started seeing the pattern just kind of just drift off, because I journaled a lot throughout that time. So I kind of just saw the pattern of her helping me just get back into things. And then once I got out of that slump, then that's when I just was like, well, I just noticed that, no one called and supported me. So then she just was like, all right, so do you want to dive into, what is your meaning of a friend now that you lost a close friend of yours? Because your needs are different than what it was before this person has passed away. And I was like, oh, I didn't realize it as that way. So her helping me work through that was also like a struggle. I'm just like, I don't know what I want. She's like, this is like similar to like a job description. You're going to have to write out like what you want in a friend, because your needs are different now. Your needs and wants are different. And she says, I'm going to raise another question. What are your priorities now? Like, is your love life more important, your work, or are you still putting your friends because you're in your mid 30s? And I'm just like, man, that's another question I need to think about. So yeah, her just raising all these questions, and she's unbiased to who I am. Any information I provide to her, she's helping me kind of just work through it. It helped me to kind of just weed out what I want in a friend, what I need, and what's more important to me, and just narrow it down to having two good friends. I'm not one of those needy friends where I need to talk to you every day. I've never been like that. You could call me every other week. We could have a girls' night out every other month, or we could do like a girls' trip once a year, and I'm fine with that. But yeah, she helped me kind of just put that into place, and I'm just like, okay, I think I feel good about life now. And then that's when I started with this little project. So I think the impact, it's a bittersweet. I wish he was still here, but I know he's shining.
Yeah,
down.
he's right there. Yeah, he's definitely right there for sure.
Shining
for
down.
sure.
But yeah, my support system was not very. So if you guys just feel like you're alone, you're not. Also, if you want to call in and leave a voice message, you can. I have the number. It's 202-480-9557. You guys can be an eavesdropper. You don't need to say your name. You don't need to say your location. Just repeat the question. What am I a supportive friend or helpful friend during a time of grief? And then state your answer, and we'll insert your audio in the episode. You're not going to get me. You're going to leave a voicemail. I'm just letting you know, FYI.
They're like, but I want to speak to you.
No, girl, you get a voicemail, and we going to insert your audio. But but it's a part of life. It took some time for me. I know for you, was it a slow process or a mid or fast?
The thing is, when it comes to the loss of a child, there's no cure, right? This is a loss that you'll suffer for the rest of your life. So you kind of learn to live in that loss. So you structure your life now around that loss. And I'm not saying, I did say I'm angry, but I'm not saying I wake up every day and I'm miserable. I wake up every day. Like I said, I have a plan because I have somebody watching me. But I've already learned, because people are like, oh, time heals. Not with this. It really doesn't. People need to stop lying to people. It's okay to say that I'm going to be hurt and sad for the rest of my life. And I am, and I'm okay admitting that, because I wouldn't want to lie to anybody. I wouldn't want to lie to myself. What has surprised me is, because I want to make sure I throw this out there, is, other than my tribe, my hood, the way my hood stood up. I had, I had people reaching out to me that were either, friends from high school that we just, we lived life, so we haven't gotten in touch with each other or things like that. But they reached out, all of them were like, they reached out and they shown love to shut up. So shout out to 201. You already know who you are. 212, all New York tri-state area. Okay. Everybody, at the end of the day, everybody has had my back. At the end of the day, I have been fortunate enough to have a good amount of people in my life, positive people in my life, that I can say I've had 20 plus years. This is just an unfortunate, tragic incident that blew everybody's mind and hit everybody differently. And they're handling their grief in result of that differently. Right. So it's not to knock them, not to say anybody's better than the other. Everybody handled this differently. Everybody took this in differently. What I can say, the positive of that is the love that they've shown. Like, it put a smile on my face. Like, dang, I must be a good person to have all these good people around me. Right. Right. So that's what I've taken from it. But yes, at the end of the day, I have lost definitely a lot more than I've gained. And the only thing I could do now is just continue to put my best foot forward. Don't get me wrong. There's days that I don't put that foot nowhere. I get to work from home. So there's days that as soon as I clock out of work, I'm in my little slumber in my cave, in my area. But that's what makes me happy right now. I'm not going to fake the funk and get up and get dressed and go party here and go party there and pretend. I don't need to. It's
not the cure.
That's why. And I'm not pretending for nobody. I don't need to impress anybody, right? I need to grieve the way I need to grieve what works for me. We had mentioned when we spoke briefly about a therapist, you know, I'm glad that we're getting a lot more feedback from everybody, even now celebrities, when it comes to therapists. Because remember, back in the day, it was taboo. If you went to see a therapist, there's something wrong with you. You crazy, girl. You know what I'm saying? Yes. So now that it's open, where you see the celebrities are dropping like flies themselves, because they don't have the proper people or the proper outlets or anything.
No, girl.
So, you know, like I had mentioned to you when we spoke before, I've never thought of going to one, only because I would definitely need to literally find somebody that's down to the T, gone through what I've gone through. Yeah. I don't think any outside therapist that's just a female, just an African-American female or Hispanic female, because I'm of Hispanic descent also, or, you know, or maybe that's even lost a child, can relate, because mine was just such more on a graver type, and mine's such a more tragic, you know, exposed type incident, that's why I've never gone that route. But I appreciate the fact that they're out there. I appreciate the fact that they do what they do, and that a lot more exposure has been brought to them, you know, because they needed that. Because once again, like you said, it's helped you. Like the questions you just, you know, told us right now, it's like, wow, those are really good questions, right? That's something that never, that's why like, those are really good questions. So, you know, this is, even though I myself am not using one, I'm not going to one right now, I definitely recommend anybody who feels that they should, or anybody who doesn't have anybody to talk to, or anybody just that needs that fresh perspective. Because of course, when you have that good girlfriend, that good boyfriend, they are going to keep it real, but they're also going to soften it up just to not hurt your feelings or whatever. So you need that person that doesn't know you sometimes to be like, girl, this is what it is.
Give you a sharper perspective.
And that's what they're paid to do. So that you'll definitely get their honesty from that outlet. So maybe one day for me, but right now my drive is the goal that she set forth for me. So that kind of keeps me busy right now. So that's where I'm going.
Ciao, this was a sad episode, but we're gonna pull it together.
We are. Smiles on your face. Whenever y'all feeling down, just shout out my baby girl's name. She's an awesome human being and an awesome angel. And if you're a good person, she takes care of my peoples. You know, I'll send a little shout out like, Mamita, can you just, you know, send a little love to such and such? Next thing you know, I get a phone call that they good. I'm like, all right, then thank you. You know, that's what I want to make sure she does. I want to make sure that whatever she's able to give, she gives it back to the people that had her mom's back. You know what I'm saying? So you don't understand how wholeheartedly I believe in, and I'm not, you know, it's not to go into the subject of religion or the topic of religion, but I promise you, when I tell you, just like you feel your cousin, I feel this child. I feel this child in every step I make, good or bad. There's days that my back is against the wall and I'm like, I can't do this. And Shorty's like, mommy, I got you. Next thing you know, she sends somebody or something my way, girl, because
girls, woo, this is a heavy episode, but I warned y'all in the beginning. So, but it's a discussion that needs to be had. Yes. As the eavesdropper said, this was uncomfortable. And she said it numerous times. She said it more before I even did the public interview. But what do you want to cheers to today, girl? Did you learn anything or something that you want to work on? What do you want to cheers to? Let me get my little glass of water.
Well, let's cheers to teachers, because what this caller let me know when she mentioned that it wasn't something done in her childhood, in her life, to have that sort of emotion and that sort of care. I reiterate that to all my families with me being a teacher. People still tend to underestimate how much children pick up, how much knowledge children know. They're like, oh, well, they're just a baby. They may be just a baby, but they're humans. Years. They're absorbing everything just like we are. They're just the difference in age is their expression's different. But trust and believe they're absorbing it, negative or positive, the same way we would.
Energy too.
Yes. So it's as simple as this caller mentioned, you know, somebody should have told her more. It's okay to have these feelings. Somebody should have hugged her and said, I got you. Like, you know, I don't want to speak on behalf of that person or their upbringing, but it could take that little bit. It could literally take you just hugging your child or any child for that matter and be like, you good. It's okay. You got this. Or maybe you don't have it this time. You'll have it next time. And the thing is, we live in a world that's so internet based. I tell my parents all the time, if you don't raise your child, the internet will.
Absolutely.
If you don't keep it 1,000 with them, the internet will, but all the time
they're gonna find out, or they're gonna find out,
and it might not be the truth, and they might accept it as a truth because they have nothing else to compare it to. Right. So it's better off they hear it from you, feel it from you, than hear it from these streets. So cheers to all of us really just trying to make it through the day. Girl, I didn't even have to bring my glass. I don't even know what to do. I'm stuck. Virtual, yeah. So, it cheers to all of us just trying, right? Because, it gets harder as you get older. There's no manual for this, no matter how many times our parents warned us, oh, wait till you grow up or wait till you're an adult. There's no manual for this ever. And then, of course, it becomes even harder once you do become a parent. You want to leave a good human being behind, right? So shout out to the parents doing it. Boo to the parents not doing it. Step up your game, please. And just shout out to all us women. I'm saying, we've stepped up our game these past couple of years. Well, we're in the workforce now. Like you mentioned, your friend, some of us are the head of household. Now we're filling out our taxes that we're the head of household. You feel me? So shout out to those women. Continue doing you. And, shout out to us who are not going to be silenced to talk about these sort of topics that, we are not catering to what the internet says as in terms of the falsehood that we should live in. It's okay to grieve. We all have grief. It's okay to wallow in that grief if you need to for however long you need to. Cry, scream, pull hair, do what you got to do. It's okay. Don't let the internet tell you got to be phony and smile and do this and do that. Be you. Only through that. Yes. Only through that grief and only through that, whatever change it is in your life is what changes you, right? That's where you learn your lessons. So go ahead and learn that lesson, get that wokeness you need to get. And, continue on from there, and then always be kind, because once again, when you think you got it bad, shorty over here dealing with a murdered child, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'll talk to people and I don't introduce myself like, hi, my kid, got murdered. I introduce myself as me. So as they get to know me and then find out my story, they're like, girl, I would have never known you go through that because your strength and the way you walk around. I said, because I'm not going to let this man break me. I can't let this circumstance break me. And I'm still somebody's mother. So I still have to stand up on my own 2 feet and do what I got to do, so don't let nothing break you. And you will be broken. I'm broken. I can admit that, I'm never going to be healed. There's nothing that can fill that void. I don't intend to fill that with anything. So, that place is for her. It will always be for her. So it's okay to say that. It's okay to say, I don't feel well. It's okay to say I'm broken. Like you said, it's okay to say, I don't want to be bothered right now. That's okay too. I want women, men, and children to know it's okay. Literally to know it's okay. Tomorrow's another day. And as cliche as that sounds, it just is. It just is. We watch these videos online. I tell my kids all the time, when it comes to the book reports, here you are being lazy with a book report, but I could Google 3 people that unfortunately under whatever circumstances are missing limbs and they're driving their cars, putting on their makeup. You've seen them girls putting on their makeup, cooking their food. No excuses. No excuses.
No excuses.
So yeah, if anything, the takeaway today should be no excuses. Get up and do what you gotta do. When it comes to grief, that also shines a light on who is really there, who's not. Take that information, store it, and keep it going.
What do I want to share? I want to cheers to us just pushing through grief.
Definitely.
And not hurting and not being violent, because some people resort to that.
Almost there, girl. That's why. I was almost there.
I said I want to cheers to that. And I also just want to cheers to, what I want to cheers to? Us just finding, me and you just finding an outlet to, I don't want to say distracts, but kind of just keep our mind like laser focused on that. And, also just following through with it. Because I think people just, they go through grief and then they just, I guess I'll be stuck with this. And we were blessed enough to find something to do, and we're actually moving forward with it. We're keeping our emotions intact. We're talking, we're being vulnerable. And some people just still just stay in place of just being in their shell.
Correct.
So I want to cheers to that. What else I want to cheers to?
The book.
Yeah. Let me tell y'all something. Is my Michael?
Yep.
Yes, it is, girl. When I finish this book and book 2, because it's 2 books.
Oh my. Like back to back? Like as soon as you drop the first one, you going right back to the drawing board and working on the second? Or is
No,
the second already?
So the book 1 is content and case studies and pictures. Okay. Book 2 is like the workbook that is accompanied.
Oh, okay. That's smart. I like that idea.
Book author. That's why I said I will invest. Let me tell you something. When I finish this book, I am going to be rolling around in the sand somewhere.
Well, we already know. See that background I put back there? That's a general idea of where I am. So you already know where to come. You already know where to come, girl. I got you. Catamaran boats, snorkeling, the whole works. Nurse sharks, everything. I got you, girl.
This book is like a lot. And I'm just like, and I'm supposed to be planning a book tour. Am I freaking crazy?
Ooh.
Yeah, I just need to finish this book. It's a lot.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I guess cheers to me still writing the book.
Yes, girl. Cheers.
But yes, cheers. Yes.
To not giving up.
Oh no, we not, because I'm already halfway through and spent too much money. We are finished.
Yes, for real. We're gonna finish this book. You all gonna love this book. You're gonna read this book. Tell your friends.
Yes, but thank y'all for tuning in to my version of a digital girls' night out. Hey, girl.
Hey,
also,
girl.
Yes. And if y'all want to join in on a conversation, because we will be chiming in on this conversation again with different girls or panels and stuff. Definitely call in at 202-480-9557.
Yes.
Until next time, bye, Jen.
Bye, girl. Have a great day.
You too.